Hi, it's Michael talking about motorcycle boots, riding boots, and sharing my experience that perhaps may help you with your selection of riding boots. So there are certain categories that can be created to evaluate the shoes, and the categories are, I've written it down so something is not forgotten. Sole stiffness, how stiff is the sole of the boot. This affects whether you can feel the peg or not. So it's usually better to have a stiffer sole, and on the other hand, the stiffer sole then affect walking comfort. Next is traction. Next is abrasion protection. If you go on sliding along the pavement, what kind of protection it offers. Next is crash protection. If your foot gets trapped under the motorcycle, it is protected by the boot. Next is walking comfort. If you want to go for a walk during your ride. Next is rain protection, how waterproof the shoe or boot is. Next is the height of the boot, which is very important for wind protection, for protecting the lower leg from wind getting in under the pant leg. That's very important. Obviously, the taller the boot, the better the wind protection. The next one is entanglement resistance. Ooh, how potentially dangerous it could be if some part of the boot would get entangled in the shift lever or brake lever, like for example shoelaces or this kind of lace. And the next is toe box height. How high is the toe box? Obviously, the higher it is, the taller it is, the more space you need under the shift lever, the more the shift lever needs to be raised. And apparently, I haven't experienced it personally, but from what's on the internet, some bikes, if the shift lever is adjusted to the maximum, which some of these tall toe boxes require or may require, then the shift lever may, when you shift up, the shift lever may be hitting the engine casing or something not nice. I haven't experienced it, but apparently it can happen with some bikes. And the next thing is the stiffness of the toe box, in the sense that when you shift up, and the shift lever is here, and when you shift up, how well can you feel the shift lever? That's also important, especially with bikes where you need to shift more often, like smaller engines. If you're on a longer ride or something, you may have to shift a lot of times. So if you can really feel the shift lever through the boot and your foot is sensitive to it, then you may develop some sore spot on your foot there. Even though the riding boots are slightly reinforced, they have some padding, but some don't have enough. And these are my examples. So just not to focus on exact model of the boot, but the focus here is on the style of the boot. Can you smell it? It smells like wet moss or mushrooms. Maybe this way. This way better. Right? Check. Checkmate. By the way, this mate is from Czech. At the time it was called Czechoslovakia. So now it's called Czechia. So Czechia, these boots. So this is the cheapest boot, and it was about $200, and it is very light. The sole is kind of stiff, but my feet can feel the peg through the sole very well, and my feet don't like it, so I don't wear it very much. Maybe on the scooter for commuting, but not on this bike. Also, this is not very stiff, so the shift lever can be felt very well. These are probably not waterproof. Well, eventually they will get waterproof once they are so saturated with water that they cannot let more through. But they are comfortable in hot summer. Low height, so wind can get easily through, and as you probably well know, it may feel fairly warm outside when you're walking, but at speed on the motorcycle, that wind can feel quite chilly, and so it's very important to protect the bones, the joints from that cold wind. So this has a very limited use. Now, this is a hiking boot, this is not a riding boot. Oh, and traction. This decent traction on pavement, poor traction on gravel roads like this parking lot here. So not good for exploring nature, obviously. These are heavy-duty hiking boots, backpacking boots. They actually work quite well as riding boots. The sole is stiff, it cannot be bent, the peg cannot be felt through it very much. The toe box is tall, so it needs more space under the shift lever. The top is stiff, so the shift lever cannot be felt very much, so that's excellent. However, one needs to be careful to lace it up properly so the shoelaces don't get tangled up in the shift lever or something else. And they are rainproof, waterproof, Gore-Tex. They offer obviously good abrasion protection. These probably are okay. This is a full grain leather, so very good in that side. Crash protection basically non-existent here. Crash protection a little bit better, but nothing extra. I mean, these are hiking boots designed that if you get your foot stuck between some kind of rocks or something, your foot survives it. But a couple of rocks and a 500-pound motorcycle are a little bit different things. These can get very expensive, these hiking boots. Now, this is a touring boot. Oh, and obviously the sole has a good tread, so traction is very good. These are touring boots. Very, very comfortable to walk in and to ride in. As to the overall shoe comfort and fit, it's just the sole is not very stiff, so the peg can be felt very well through it. The top is not very stiff, so the shift lever can be felt through it very well as well. They don't offer much crash protection, which I found out by experience when on a wet forest trail. I had a spill, and the bike at the time was Honda CB300F, so much lighter than this one, but the bike landed on my right foot, and I spent the rest of the day walking funny. Anyway, it wasn't very pleasant, so crash protection not the best. Obviously this is leather, so abrasion protection would be good. They are Gore-Tex, so rain protection was initially excellent. After about a year of very frequent use, the Gore-Tex layer got worn through around here, and they stopped being waterproof. And obviously they are taller, so they offer much better wind protection, but still it depends on the pants and on the angle under which your knee is bent. So obviously when you sit on the bike, whether it's a scooter or a normal motorcycle, and your knee is bent, then the pant leg comes up. So what I found out on my CB300, the knee was bent a lot, and the pant leg came up a lot, and it came up enough that the bottom calf of the pant leg was just sitting about here, so not sealing very well, and cold wind could get through. That's why I bought these ones. Cold wind could get through, so it depends what riding position your bike offers. But as a combination of riding and walking comfort all day, these ones were great. Obviously when you look at the sole of it, then not much of a tread, so good traction on normal pavement. Yeah, not the best traction on loose stuff like this gravel parking lot. Alright, not very tall toe box, so not an issue with the gap below the shift lever. Now these ones are heavier duty adventure boots, very expensive, but very worth it, even if you don't use them for adventure, in the sense that they offer quite decent crash protection, which I also found out by experience when I dropped this bike in a parking lot with me still sitting on top of it, and the bike landed on my left foot and trapped it like this. It was leaning against my foot, so the toe was against the pavement, and the bike was leaning against the heel of it. Obviously probably not the whole weight of the bike, otherwise it would still crush it. There was a pannier, but still I could feel the pressure of the bike on the boot, but no injury, no nothing. So excellent in that sense, fantastic. If that would happen with this, I probably would have to go and see a doctor afterwards. So good crash protection, good, obviously excellent abrasion protection. Sole very stiff. These are designed so you can stand on the pegs, so you cannot feel the pegs much with this. Entanglement protection with both of these is very good. There is nothing to get entangled anywhere. This has this mechanism, and they are supposed to be waterproof, even though I've been using them for some time. So far no rain, but they are Gore-Tex, and the toe box is stiff, so shift lever cannot be felt through it, and the toe box is very tall, so On both of bikes, my previous bike and this bike, the shift lever has to be adjusted to maximum gap for this. And of course they are very large foot size 13, so that probably adds to it as well. Now, walking comfort, not very good. It can be done, but it's not much fun. So when I go on trips like this, I almost always carry a pair of walking boots, hiking boots or shoes, and leave these with the bike. So that's about it. So these ones were about 200 bucks. These ones were about 300 bucks Canadian, 300 bucks. These go around 600 bucks, and these go close to 700 bucks. So not cheap stuff, but it is important. If you spill, if the bike falls on your foot gets trapped under it, then it's worth it to have something that really offers good protection, and definitely worth it to have a protection against the cold wind coming below your pant leg and getting to your bones and joints, which cannot be good. So that's about it. I hope it helped you, or maybe you have some helpful tips for me. You can leave them below in the comments below the video. And thanks for watching. Michael out.